Good day everyone, I'm Angelica. I'm here to discuss the nature of planning. Planning Planning is a complex, comprehensive intellectual management process focused on proper selection of goals and objectives and developing a course of action on the task and resources to be employed to achieve the goals and objectives for future organization performance. Ang pagpaplano ay isang proseso o paraan ng pag-iisip at pagsasaayos ng mga gagawin ng maaga para ma-achieve mo yung mga goal mo sa future. Kasama dito yung mga magiging paraan or step mo para makamit mo yun. Following are the essential characteristics of planning. Number 1, planning is crucial. Planning is the most basic management function with all other functions of management largely interconnected to it. Mahalaga ang pagpaplano dahil ito yung magiging guide natin para sa gagawin natin sa isang bagay o para sa future natin. Number 2, an intellectual process. Planning is a prudent choice of the proper course of action from among alternatives. It is a process where a number of steps are to be taken to choose the best future course of action. Kailangan natin maging maingat sa mga pipiliin nating hakbang sa pagpaplano. Kumbaga, pipiliin natin yung mga action na gagawin natin is yung best para sa gagawin natin. Number 3, a continuous function. Planning is a dynamic process that need frequent revision owing to the changing nature of the business environment. Planning is dynamic process. Nababago siya depende sa lagay ng panahon. Kahit kahit nababago yung weather or yung panahon natin is patuloy pa din siya nagpo-function. Number 4, planning is flexible. In planning, any one of the available alternative is selected, though the best option is implemented based on a certain assumption. Sa pagpaplano, kailangan mo nang pumili ng best at alam mo makakatulong para sa iyo. Pero kahit may best ka nang napili, pwede mo pa din siyang dagdagan or pwede mo pa din dagdagan yung action na gagawin mo. Number 5, for all managerial function. Planning is an all-encompassing function of management which is present at all levels and all departments of an organization. Planning is an all-encompassing function of management, kumbaga, is siya yung namamahala sa lahat. Number 6, planning contributes to the objectives. A decisive, sound and efficient planning process recognize and how and when to tackle a problem that will lead to the attainment of goals and objectives. Halimbawa dito is paano at ano yung kailangan mong gawin para harapin yung problema na darating at mapagtagumpayan mo yun. Number 7, future is always full of uncertainties. Planning helps in seeing uncertainties in a business organization which is may caused by changes in technology, fashion, and taste of people, government rules and regulation, among others. Yung pagpaplano is nakakatulong siya para maiwasan yung mga bagay na hindi ka sigurado. Number 8, better utilization of resources. Planning makes useful and appropriate use of organization resources, though identification of all such available resources and makes optimal utilization of these resources. Planning is nakakatulong siya sa atin upang maalam tayo sa angkop na paggamit ng mga resources or pinagkukunan. Number 9, increase organizational effectiveness. Effectiveness guarantees that the organization is in the best position to attain its goals and objectives owing to improved efficiency of the organization via planning. Sa pamamagitan ng pagplano is sinisigurado nito na nasa maayos kang posisyon para makamit mo yung lahat ng gagawin mo or lahat ng goal mo. Number 10, reduce the cost of performance. The choice of only one course of action among the different courses of action will yield the greatest outcome at minimum cost due to planning. Dahil may plan ka na, wala ka na masyadong gagawin. Kumbaga, magpo-focus ka na lang dun sa action na alam mong best para sa gagawin mo sa future mo. Number 11, helps in coordination. Various departments work based with the general plans of the organization, which create harmony in the organization and avoid duplication of efforts and conflict of jurisdictions. Ang pagpaplano ay nakakatulong para maging maayos yung gagawin mo, para din maiwasan yung mga conflict, and para din hindi maulit yung action na gagawin mo at hindi na mauulit-ulit. Number 12, delegation is facilitated. An excellent plan constantly makes possible delegation of authority in a better approach to subordinates. Ito yung proseso ng pagtatalaga ng mga gawain o responsibilidad sa iba ay ginagawang mas madali o mas maayos.
Planning is the most important function of management. In the lack of planning, all the business activities of the organization will turn useless.
Here are the list of importance of planning for a business organization. Number 1, planning provides direction. Nakakatulong ang pagpaplano na magtakda ng malinaw na mga layunin ng organisasyon. Ang pagpaplano din ay nagbibigay ng daan para makamit mo ang mga goals or objectives mo. Number 2, planning reduce risk of uncertainty. Ang pagpaplano ay nakakatulong para mabawasan ang mga panganib sa pamamagitan ng pag-asam ng mga potensyal na hamon at pagbuo ng mga estratehiya upang mapagtagumpayan ang mga ito. Number 3, planning reduce overlapping and wasteful activities. Ang pagpaplano ay nakakatulong para ma-reduce yung mga overlapping and wasteful activity. Sa pagpaplano, nababawasan yung oras o trabaho na gagawin mo. Number 4, planning promotes innovative idea. Ang pagpaplano ay nagpapaunlad ng mga makabagong ideya sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng outline kung saan maaaring umunlad ang pagkamalikhain. Number 5, planning facilitates decision making. Sa pamamagitan ng pagpaplano, natutulungan ka nito na mapadali sa paggawa ng mga desisyon. Halimbawa is magde-decide ka kung ano ba yung best option para sa gagawin mo, kung makakabuti ba ito o hindi. And number 6, planning establishes standard for controlling. Ang pagpaplano ay nagtatakda ng mga benchmark o pamantayan kung saan nasusukat ang aktwal na pagganap. Ang mga pamantayang ito ay nagbibigay ng batayan para sa paghahambing ng mga nakaplanong layunin sa mga aktwal na kinalabasan. Halimbawa, ang pagpaplano ay nagtatakda ng mga inaasahan at patnubay para sa pagsubaybay at pagkontrol sa mga aktibidad upang makamit ang mga ninanais na resulta.
Steps involved in planning. Planning is a process which requires a number of steps to be taken. The planning process may differ from the organizations to organization or from plan to plan. For instance, planning process for a big organization may not be similar for a small business. However, the key steps in the planning process of a major organization or enterprise are as follows. Defining the current situation. The first and primary steps in planning process is kailangan natin ipakita ang situation ng organization. So, kailangan natin na malaman kung saan natin ipapakita ang business bago i-formulating goals and objectives. Example, goals can be intangible and non-measurable, but objectives are defined in terms of tangible targets. For example, the goal to provide excellent customer services is intangible, but the objective to reduce customer wait time to 1 minute. Intangible and helps in achieving the main goal. Establishing goal and objectives. Specific means if someone is specific, they give a description that is precise and exact. Measurable with specific criteria that measure your progress toward the accomplishment of the goal. Attainable. The goal needs to be realistic. Time-bound is a goal with a deadline or specific timeline. Establishment of planning premises. Planning premises provide the background against which the estimated events take place. These are the events take place. Establishment of planning premises is a critical element in the planning phase which ensure that all managers in the organization are in sync with each other. Determining alternative courses of action. Choosing a course of action involves determining alternatives by drawing on research, experimentation, and experience. Evaluating all alternatives. The process of analyzing and evaluating alternatives applies evaluation criteria to alternatives or options in a way that facilitates decision making. Choosing a course of action. It is a process of choosing appropriate goals and action to pursue. It includes determining what strategies to use, what action to take, and deciding what resources are needed to achieve the goals. Using supporting plans. Plans ay hindi matatapos mag-isa, so kailangan nila na hatiin into supporting plans. Bawat manager and department ng organization must participate para ma-accomplish of the master plan on the basis of the supporting plans. Establishing succession of activity. The right timing is essential to giving the programs a tangible, useful structure. It is important to establish specific start and completion time frame for every task, specifying the time window in which each task must be completed. Feedback action is a useful way to help you think about how you can improve when completing future assessment. Here is some tips. 1. Identify the key feedback. 2. Analyze the feedback. 3. Create an action plan. 4. Implement the action plan. 5. Evaluate the results. 6. Repeat the cycle, and so on and so forth. Lesson 2. Type of plan at different management levels. Planning is indivisible to all phases of life. It is certainly true in business too. Managers come across planning for all sorts of things. This is very reasons that planning is one of the four major functions of management. Through planning, a manager can be confident that she is functioning towards some organization goals and objectives. Planning levels. In order for planning to work successfully, goals and objectives as well as action plans at the lower and middle management must support the goals. Objectives and action plans at the top level management. Everybody must pull in the same path for planning to work best. A lot of managers work in an organizations, yet these managers do not work at similar levels. They work and function at diverse positions. Hierarchy of this managerial position is called levels of management. Planning levels. What is level of management? The division between degree of authority and responsibility in a company. Itong pyramid ay nahati ito sa tatlo. Ito ay ang upper management, middle management, lower level management. These levels determine the duty of various manager positions, including who they will report to and who reports to them. The upper management, CEO, Chief Executive Officer, are responsible for managing a company. CFO, Chief Financial Officer, are managing a company's finances. COO, Chief Operating Officer, manages and handles the daily business operations of the company, working closely with department heads and and supervisors to support the day-to-day activity of employees. CTO, Chief Technology Officer, who oversees the current technology and creates relevant policy. Middle management interprets plans and sets actions, job like regional plans managers. Lower level management implements plans, jobs like team leaders, assistants, foreman, shift manager. Planning at the top level management, BOD, Board of Director, the governing body of a company, elected by shareholders in the case of public companies, to set a strategy and oversees management. GM, General Manager, monitor the daily operations of their business. MD, Managing Director, leading and overseeing the overall operations and business strategy of an organization. The Board of Directors is the representative of the shareholders. Likewise, the Chief Executive Officer is elected by the Board of Directors of an organization.
Strategy. Strategy is an action that managers take to attain one or more of the organization goals. Strategy can also be defined as a general direction set for the company and its various components to achieve a desired state in the future. Strategies result from the detailed strategic planning process. Strategic plans. Strategic plan is an organizational management activity that is used to set priorities, focus energy and resources, strengthen operation, ensure that employees and others stakeholders are working toward common goals, establish agreement around intended outcomes, result and assess and adjust the organizations. Mission. A mission statement is a simple and brief description that encompasses the purpose of company, defining its culture, goals, and values. It helps customers, employees, and investors have a clear vision of the company's top priorities. Table 6 Mission and Vision of Coca-Cola. Our mission. A mission statement clarifies what the company wants to achieve, who they want to support, and why they want to support them. On the other hand, a vision statement describes where the company wants a community or the world to be as a result of the company's service. Our vision. Our vision is to craft the brands and choice of drinks that people love, to refresh them in body and spirit, and done in ways that create a more sustainable business and better shared future that makes a difference in people's lives, communities, and our planet. Planning at the middle level of management. Middle management refers to managers who are below the top level of management and who are responsible for controlling and running an organization rather than making decisions about how it operates. The middle level management emphasis more on following tasks. 1. Gives recommendation or advice to the top level management. Assigning employees tasks, guiding and supervising employees on day-to-day activities, ensuring the quality and quantity of production, making recommendation and suggestion. 2. Implements the policies and plans in conformance with company's policies and the objectives which are made by the top level management. They are responsible for all the organization activities like implementing policies, procedures, strategies, and decisions made by the top managers. The middle managers transfer the top level managers information to the lower level managers. 3. Coordinates the activities of all the departments. Coordination of activities is the process of organizing and aligning various tasks and resources to achieve a common goal. The term is often used in project management as it encompasses all of the different elements that must come together to complete a project successfully. 4. Communicates about information and policies with the top level management and the lower level management. 4. communicates about information and policies with the top levels management and the lower level management. When leaders and managers share information with lower level employees, it's called downward or top-down communication. In other words, communication from superiors to subordinates in a chain of command is a downward communication. 5. Prepare short-term plans of their department, which are generally made for 1 to 5 years. Typically, short-term goals are defined as accomplishments that take 3 months to a few years. Long-term goals are usually complete in 1 to 5 years or longer. This is not a set practice, simply a common guideline that makes sense when laying out your plans. 6. Inspires and provides guidance to low-level managers toward better performance. By implementing these strategies, organization can provide valuable guidance to low-level managers and support them in achieving better performance, ultimately contributing to the overall successful of the organization. Tactics. Tactics are your carefully planned action for attaining a certain goal. You'll have to come up with some clever tactics if you're going to figure out how to build the fastest race car and win the Girl Scouts troop competition. Tactics are also refers to a branch of military science that deals with planning maneuvers. Tactical plans. Tactical planning is the creation of smaller goals that are utilized to reach a larger overreaching goals. Tactical goals are measurable and specific actions that are often time-bound and have a direct correlation with the strategic goal. Planning at the lower level of management. Managers at the lower level of the management are more concerned to planning and organizing the operation at the departmental level. They implement the policies of the organization. They also play the supervisory role since they are in direct contact with the employees at the workplace. The lower level management performs following activities. 1. Assign employees tasks. Employees complete tasks for organization leaders. They use their skills, knowledge, and expertise to fulfill a certain role at a firm. They usually work within a specific department like customer service, marketing, accounting, or information technology. 2. Guide and supervise employees on activities. The operational manager is part of the top-level management of an institution. The operational managers may be assigned different tasks in different institutions, but overall, a person in this position oversees an organization's day-to-day activity, develops morale in the workers. One of the most effective ways to boost employee morale is to provide workers with managers they trust and respect. And that training begins at the top by coaching leaders and communication, giving and receiving feedback, emotional intelligence, and how to foster psychological safety in the workplace. 4. Maintains a link between worker and the middle-level management. Middle-level managers are responsible for executing organizational plans which accompany with the company's policies. They act as an intermediary between top-level and low-level management. 5. Informs the worker about the decisions which are taken by the management. There are 2 types of decision-making in management: planned and unplanned. Planned decisions are those that are made in advance, after considering all the options and their possible outcomes. Unplanned decisions, on the other hand, are those that are made on the spot without our prior consideration. 6. Informs the management about the performance, difficulties, feelings, demands, etc. of the workers. Performance management is a communication process by which managers and employees work together to plan, monitor, and review an employee's work objectives and overall contribution to the organization. 7. Ensures the quality and quantity of production. Quality is a measure of excellence and quantity is a countable measure of items. Understanding the difference between the two can help you determine what content creation and production practice are most suitable for you. 8. Makes recommendation and suggestion. Be polite. When making suggestion, it is important to be polite and considerate of the other person's feelings. Avoid being blunt or rude, as this may come across as aggressive or confrontational. Use polite language and tone, such as perhaps you could consider, or I was wondering if you might want to try. 9. Up channels employee problems. Up channels could implement strategies such as a regular feedback session, professional development opportunities, flexible work arrangements, and team building activities to mitigate these problems and foster a positive work environment.
Tara talakayin natin ang aking lesson number 3, planning technique and tools and their application. Tara talakayin natin ang patungkol sa Gantt chart. Ano nga ba ang Gantt chart? Ang Gantt chart ay isang visual presentation ng mga task sa proyekto sa paglipas ng panahon. Ang bawat task na pinapakita na bilang isang bar sa chart at kasama kanyang tagal at dependency. Halimbawa na lang ay maaari ang pag-develop sa XML or Intangible Maker Plan ay unang habang kasunod na pagpaplano ng test case upang sa pag-develop ng files transmission at madami pang iba. Ang Gantt chart ay nakakatulong sa pagpaplano at pag-schedule ng mga tasks upang magkaroon ng maayos na daloy ng proyekto. Ito ang ilang mga halimbawa na katulong ng Gantt chart. Number 1. Developed XML files. Isinusulat nito ang XML language upang makakuha ng maraming data. Number 2. Design test cases. Sila naman ang nagpaplano ng mga test scenario upang makakuha sila ng mga feedback sa mga kasaming proyekto. Number 3. Test files content. Tinitiyak naman ng mga ito na tamang binibigay nilang files sa XML files. Development files transmission. Gawain naman nito ang functional na pagdadala ng mga XML files. Testing the file sample situation. Sinusubukan nitong siguraduhin na maayos ang sistema na pumapasok sa XML files. At number 6, makeup structured change or firewall. Ito naman ay nag-a-adjust sa mga security or nagbabantay upang sa mga nagbibigay ng mga XML files. Ano ba ang milestone? Ang milestone ay isang day plan, ang isang strategy ng proyekto, ang ngasiwa kung saan itinatakda ng pangunahing hakbang o yugto ng isang proyekto. Ang mga katapat na petsa ng kanilang pagtatapos, ito ay naglalayong magbigay ng strategy, orientasyon, at gabay sa buong proyekto upang matiyak nilang natutupad ang mga layunin nito. Sa pamamagitan ng pagtatakda ng mga mahalagang petsa, ang milestone magiging mas madali para sa mga kasapi ng proyekto na nagtatakda ng target at magkakaroon ng benchmark upang matukoy ang tagumpay ng proyekto. Halimbawa, design and planning phase. Start dates May 1, 2024 and end date is May 15, 2024. Ang Decision Tree ay isang diagram na nagpapakita ng mga possible decisions sa ilalim ng paranib. Ito ay ginagamit ng mga manager para masuri ang mga alternatibong landas at decision tulad ng pagre-recruit, marketing, investment at marami pang iba. May 3 uri tayo ng nodes at 2 uri ng branches decision tree. Ang mga decision nodes ay nagsasalarawan ng isang punto kung saan kailangan gumawa ng mga alternatibong hakbang, habang ang decision tree naman ay nagbibigay ng kumpletong larawan sa isang decision at nagtutulak na maayos upang maunawaan at pag-analisa ng mga possible na resulta. Narito ang mga ilang halimbawa ng isang possible decision tree for choosing a vacation. Example, di ba? decide on budget. Magpupunta tayo sa mga low budget katulad ng consider local destination, beach resort, mountain resorts, and then sa medium budget meron tayong explore nearby city. Yung mga medyo mahal, historical landmark tour, shopping and dining, and meron tayong mga priceless na mga gastos like yung international travel, Europe tour, Asian adventure, at marami pang iba.
Payback analysis. It is a mathematical method that finds out how long the investment on an asset or project will pay for itself. It is usually measured in fractions of years. The asset or project must have payoff in an adequate period of time, and it is less risky if the payback period is shorter. Say for example, I manage a rental car company and gusto ko na bumili ng mga bagong sasakyan na gagamitin ko sa business ko. So, pinag-iisipan ko kung bibili ba ako nung mas murang mga sasakyan, yung mga second hand, which is alam kong mas mapapamura ako and mas mabilis ko siyang mabibili. Or bibili ba ako nung mas mahal or yung mga brand new na sasakyan. Siyempre, as a manager, kailangan kong i-consider kung gaano ba katagal yung itatagal ng sasakyan sa business ko, yung mga warranty, and yung insurance, at kung papatok ba siya sa customer ko, kung tatangkilikin ba siya ng mga customer. Maaari nga na makabili ako ng mas murang sasakyan sa mabilis na paraan, ngunit hindi naman ako sigurado kung tatangkilikin ba ng mga customer ko yung mga second hand o yung mga mumurahing sasakyan. Sa payback analysis, sinusukat dito kung gaano ba kabilis makukuha or mababawi yung puhunan na nagastos ng isang kumpanya sa isang project o asset. Sa rental car company, mas maganda na sundin kung ano ang demand ng customer. Kung mas luxurious ang mga demand, ay luxurious din na sasakyan ang dapat na bilhin dahil tiyak naman na tatangkilikin ito ng mga customer. Kung saan alam mong mas kikita ka kahit malaki ang kailangang puhunan, you will take the risk. Payback analysis formula can be stated mathematically as follows. Payback period is equals to initial investment divided by the annual net cash flow. So for example, a company is planning to undertake a project requiring initial investment of 105 million pesos. The project is expected to generate 25 million pesos per year for 7 years. So kung susumahin ang payback analysis, payback period is equals to initial investment, which is 105 million pesos, divided by the annual net cash flow, which is the 25 million pesos, is equals to 4.2 years. So it means in 4.2 years, mababawi na ng company yung puhunan nila na 105 million pesos, and the remaining years na kumikita yung project ay ang kanilang revenue o kita na ng company. Simulation. It is a simple way of presenting a certain situation in an activity that can show what can happen if we do a specific action. Pinapakita o ginagawa rito yung isang sitwasyon sa simpleng paraan para masuri kung saan ba pwedeng mag-improve yung isang activity o kung ano man yung mga possible na risks na pwedeng kaharapin. Here are some practical ways of using simulations. First, training. An effective training simulation presents a realistic environment for users to experience complex situations and try out new techniques. For example, newly hired employees need to be trained on how to use software used at business. Instead ng mga training seminars na makikinig lang sila or mga video tutorials ang ibigay sa kanila,
Mas maganda na magkaroon sila ng training simulations na gagamit mismo sila ng mga available tools na magre-represent ng mga kailangan nilang gamitin o gawain. Mas maganda na ma-experience sila on hand yung mga kailangan nilang matutunan kaysa sa ituturo lang sa kanila verbally. Second is process improvement. In focusing on certain aspect ng business, mas mapagtutuunan ng pansin lahat ng mga detalye kung paano gumalaw ang business. Mas nasusuri ng mabuti kung mayroon bang mga area na kailangan i-improve para hindi mapag-iwanan. Third is predicting outcomes. One can simulate what might happen if certain conditions exist. Kapag nakikita na natin kung ano ang nangyayari sa isang bagay using simulation, mas madali na tayong makakapag-predict kung ano ang maaaring mangyari kapag naisagawa yung isang bagay na yon. And the last is managing risk. Through simulation, an organization can simulate a scenario kung saan malalaman nila ang mga potential risk sa business. Ma-analyze nila kung paano ito masusolusyonan, kung paano nila kakaharapin, at paano nila may improve ang business. Benchmarking. Benchmarking is the process of calculating an organization's internal processes by identifying, understanding, and adapting exceptional practices from other organizations considered to be best in class. Ang benchmarking ay isang pamamaraan ng paghahambing at pagsusuri ng mga pamamaraan, proseso, produkto o serbisyo ng isang organisasyon laban sa mga best practices o pamantayan ng industriya o ng mga katulad ng organisasyon. They use it to help them to be more competitive. Nakikita nila kung nakakasabay ba ang business nila sa mga standards ng mga kasabay nilang negosyo. At kasabay nito, nakikita rin nila kung saang aspeto sila nahuhuli at kailangan mag-improve. Benchmarking is a concept that has developed and solidified into a clear series of steps that benefits industry or business as a whole. First, recognize the need for benchmarking. Alamin kung saang area ba ng business mo ang need mo tingnan kung nakasusunod pa ba sa mga standards sa mga kasabayan mong company. Second, determine the most appropriate vehicle for data collection. Alamin mo kung paano ka makakakuha ng mga information na kailangan mo and aalamin mo kung sino ang gagamitin mo sa mga benchmarking. It could be a business in the same industry or a competitor. Third, validate all data to establish its accuracy and completeness. Fourth, report the analysis in a clear, concise, and easily understood format via an appropriate medium. Fifth, plan and implement improvement actions. Perform a certain actions if may kailangan baguhin or i-improve. Sixth, institutionalize learning. Create a dynamic and adaptive environment where employees are empowered and continuously learning. There are several ways of benchmarking. First is best practices. Companies choose to look at a company or companies that they aspire to be like. Kumukuha sila ng idea sa mga leading company na gusto nilang maging katulad para malaman nila kung ano ba yung mga best practices na kailangan nila. Second is peer benchmarking. Companies choose to look at other business very similar to themselves. Tinitingnan nila yung mga kasabayan nila, pwedeng competitors or mga partners kung nakakasabay pa ba sila. Third is the SWOT. Companies gather data by looking at their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to help them understand their climate. And fourth, collaborative benchmarking. Organizations work together to identify common challenges, opportunities, and best practices. They share data, insights, and experience with each other in order to collectively identify areas for improvement and develop innovative solutions.